Hello Capricorn friends, I'm Annie Botticelli and welcome to my Capricorn October 2025 Astrology Horoscope Forecast. So, we're making it out of eclipse season. The intensity of September hopefully will start to subside. We've got a little more drama in the beginning of the month with this super moon, full moon in Aries making a square to Capricorn placements. So that will be major drama. I'm going to get into the details of that, but also there are so many things to celebrate this month. So as a fellow Capricorn placement, I have my moon and Venus there. I'm going to be letting you know the things I'm going to be celebrating about this month for us and the things we really need to be careful of. This is for you if Capricorn is your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, or any other Cap placements you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is part of your astrological picture. Very late degree Capricorn placements, so birthdays like January 15th through the rest of the sign, or Cap placements 23 degrees through the rest of the sign, and I'm there with you for my moon. I suggest you all listen to my Aquarius report additionally, so both the Cap and the Aquarius report for you late degree friends, because you will benefit from both readings. All right, so I'm just going to get right into kind of a little bit of nastiness, possibly, because I want to get that out of the way. There are a couple of other hot spots to notice where we have to be more careful this month, but we do have a lot to celebrate. So I'm just going to get into the good, the bad, the ugly here. All right, so I am a Sagittarius sun. I have a lot of Sag placements. I'm an optimist, but I have Capricorn realism. So I'll always tell you the things that I think we can do to make lemonade, and where awareness can help us have a better time. But if there's something that's just challenged, I gotta let you know. All right, so let's talk about this here. October 6th, we have a 14 degree in Aries, full moon. It is a supermoon. It is the first in a sequence of 3 supermoons we're going to have in a row. Supermoons are closer to the Earth. Their gravitational forces are stronger on the Earth. And in all of the ways that we feel full moons, we will feel this moon more. All right, fullness, completion, fruition, drama, coming to a head in the days around the 6th, but at least the 3rd, October 3rd through the 9th will be very strong. And because this is a supermoon, you may feel this much further ahead and much further after that. Supermoon times, I have noticed I can get very insomniac, become an insomniac at that time. If you're having trouble sleeping, if you're anxious, if you're just kind of restless, look to the moon because it may be the reason. And if that is the case, it will subside after this, period of time. Something is coming to a head here. Something is coming to a head about your independence. This is Aries. Something is coming to a head with your family. This is happening in your 4th house of home and family. There's something that's coming out. There's something that is putting you in a conflict here, and you're going to have a breakthrough. Okay, so things are going to be stressful, very likely because of the nature of this square, but not all Capricorns are going to feel this as strongly. If you have a placement near 14 degrees, so we'll say between 9 degrees and 19 degrees, especially the closer to 14 degrees, you are a Cap that is likely to feel this more, for better and worse, because as I said, I always talk about how squares are points of tension, but squares, pressure, also make diamonds, right? And they also help us to break through circumstances that may have been pending. So there may be something within your family unit of you not having autonomy to do something that may actually be breaking through. And that way, maybe this will just be a great thing. Maybe you're busting through inertia. You're finally claiming something, within your family space that is for you, that is independence. And maybe just the push that takes to crack out of the matrix is what you're experiencing. Or maybe it'll be dramatic, like we talked about as a potential. Now back to these degrees, 9 to 19 degrees with 14 degrees, the strongest hit. That's going to be basically our first 10 days of January. Okay, so in the days around January 1st to 10th, you all, especially like the 4th, 5th, 6th, the closer you are to that exact point, that will be an exact square for your placement. If you're in the early degree Cap range, like I have my Venus, if you're in the late degree Cap range, like I have my moon, we're a little bit more out of the biggest pressure point of this, but you will still feel this, okay? So think about before this time, what you have to claim. And my words that I used in the title, my heads up, super moon drama ahead is the theme I have for you this month. heads up is quite literal as well, because Aries rules the head. So guard your head. Don't walk under the ladder. Don't walk under people doing construction. Don't do anything where you can fall on your head more readily if possible. If you don't usually wear a helmet, I hope that you would on a bike or a motorbike or something. Do it around this time, please, because you have to protect your head more at this time. And neurological symptoms, don't let them be ignored. Things like that. Those are ways that you can stay more safe and get the most out of what is trying to come from the inside out. All right? You may have headaches that you've been ignoring. Maybe you need to look into those. You may have, vision complications or something else going on within your cranium area that you've been putting off. And this moon may bring those to a head, literally, pun intended. Or maybe this will be a discovery process for you, okay? This doesn't have to be terrible. Like I said before, a square is a pressure point, but it also is like a birthing pain, all right? So my fellow moms out there, when you birth a baby, ouch, few of you maybe had a beautiful, blissful experience. I've heard of that happening. I wasn't in that situation myself. And so yeah, right, it hurts to birth a baby. But this is the kind of energy where it's like, wow, there's a growing pain, but then you have the baby, right? So you may be literally going through that process, new parents, or you may be birthing some autonomy, as I said before, some independence within your family structure, something that you're taking the bull by the horns with, and you're just sort of running with it. And the timing is really good for making big decisions and blasting into a new level of experience, because we are in the period of time free from personal planet retrogrades until October 21st. Okay, so we've got a line of delineation here that I want to call out. That line of delineation is the first 3 weeks of October are in this flow that started at the end of August 26th through October 21st. We've got no personal planet retrograde. So Mercury, Venus, Mars, nada. No pre-retrograde shadow periods building up, nothing. So that means that the eclipses that we had in September, which by the way, only 10 days out from the second eclipse there, that was September 21st, starting October, in the weeks of October, we may still have news that comes in from those eclipses. I'm not going to go that much into the eclipses in this report because I talked about them a lot in my September and August reports. So if you want to get insights about the eclipses, the eclipse cycles, timelines, go back to those reports. You can also go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in for my free VIP community access. And I do have in the welcome letter my eclipse resource page where you can see the videos that I have for your rising sign, your sun sign, whatever other place you're going to watch about what to expect from those eclipses. But for our purposes here for October, just know that we're still technically in eclipse season, which is 4 to 6, sometimes more weeks after the last eclipse. So news, information is coming in from whatever has been trying to change with those eclipse cycles, Pisces, Virgo. And you may get more news, okay? But what's great about this, one of the great things, is that because the personal planets are direct, you are on the shore. I'm using my tidal analogy. This is a current that I always carry to help you better understand how to use your energy and align with the natural rhythms of the universe each month. So when the personal planets are direct, it's like the tides are going out. And that means when you put a boat afloat, if you put a message in a bottle, those are examples I like to put, if you're trying to get off a deserted island and you've been trapped there, you want to wait till the tides are going out, because anything you put on those tides will go far and wide. So decisions you make up until October 21st will have this imprint to go further and wider than it may if you made these decisions or put something in motion, into motion October 21st and after. October 21st until the middle of December will be a long Mercury retrograde cycle. At the end of the year, we have a little bit of an opening again from this, but you want to capitalize on this time now. So if the thing you have to do ruling the autonomy, not only do we have this full supermoon in this first 10, really strong in this first 10 days of the month, we also have long-term Neptune pretty recently in there. Aries, long, crazy long term. Chiron, very long term, getting to the end though. Ceres, a shorter term, but a lot of Aries energy. So there is this story for everybody of finding independence, finding autonomy, this is a special story for Capricorn because these are squaring us. So this is a point at which we have to possibly release some of the burdens that have been on our shoulders. Typical Capricorn story. I talk about this very often because I feel it very heavily with you, that we do so much for people. We're responsible for the most part. Sometimes we have places we can improve, right? But for the most part, a lot of times people are the glue that holds things together. And as such, there is a lot on our shoulders and we feel those pressures. And sometimes some individual desires, some individual freedoms, some individual goals and flow are crushed under the weight of the responsibility. So this long-term Aries energy, the short-term intense Aries energy is seeking to help us find those places where we need to claim that, independent path while still being a part of our family, while still, doing the things that we do and showing up for everybody. But there's something going on here. It's very radical. It's very multifaceted. It's very long-term, and it will come to a head at this time. And it will be intense. So while we're on the topic of that, I'm just going to go ahead and talk about another kind of salty aspect, and then we'll get into some goodies. Okay, I promise. So Chiron is doing a long-term square thing with Jupiter. So there are these tensions. It's this T-square energy that we're getting pushed and pulled of. Our independent growth is happening. It wants to happen. We want to expand. Our relationship space, friendships, business relationships, romantic relationship, whatever, is in a process of expansion, trying to hold this new version of us. Okay, there's pressure on it, but it's happening. And then right here in between are all of these, needs for not only possibly our independence, but also maybe independence of our family members. So parents who have older kids, starting to have more autonomy, people who either themselves or their partners going through Uranus opposition, aka midlife crisis. There's this thing going on with freedom seeking in your household, and it may not just be yours. All right, so this is happening. Expansion wants to occur, and you're breaking through to the next level where everyone can have their autonomy and everyone can go up to the next level together during this expansive time for your relationship space from June 2025 until almost July 2026. Capricorns are in a radical expansion curve for their home and family because Jupiter is in the sign of Cancer, which rules the fourth house, and it's in the house of Libra, which is our relationship space. Your idea of relationship is going to grow. Your sense of freedom in the relationship is going to grow. Your connectedness, your amount of relationships, your depth of relationship can grow. And a lot of it's going to be occurring from these breakthroughs of these things that have been holding you back. So it's very exciting. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what happens October 21st and after, just to kind of speak to that so that you can tune in to these subtle tidal changes. I promise the more you track this, you will start to feel it. You will notice that with all this rumping and bumping Aries energy, with full moon, with the forward movement, with a lot of Sag energy going on here. We've got 3 star goddesses in Sagittarius. There's this, this desire to get things done, to push things out, to move forward. And since we're getting towards the end of this flow of open planets to do that, you might have gotten into a groove of like, let's get it done, let's move it forward, let's push it. And Cappies love progress. We love getting things done, right? We have to be productive. We really want to be efficient as well. So what happens October 21st is those tides start to shift, and now that pushing, that assertiveness, that sometimes forcing if necessary, in the best ways, making things happen, the striving, the forward thinking, the long-term plans, the long-term goals, looking to the future and getting everything, your ducks in a row. Now that starts to shift into dealing with what is just right in front of you. Now, of course, we want to always do that as well, be present in the moment, be present with who is around us, what we're doing. But when the planets are moving direct like this, and we're not in any shadow periods for the personal planets, it is a time to make those plans for the future, to look ahead, to get a strategy. And then when we go into the retrograde, it's not time for that. It's time to deal with the fact that your dishwasher has been leaking, deal with the fact that your car has been squeaking. Basically, put oil on the squeaky wheels that are in front of you, because that's what happens. Things that have been slowly starting to malfunction, maybe undercover, you didn't even know they were starting to malfunction, will either altogether give out or show signs of getting all messed up. And that it goes the same for communication, etc. So as we get into this phase, October 21st, all of November into December, this is the time to be the earthworm, go back over things over and over, make them all nice and ready, do stuff in the backdrop. This is the time for you to stay on the shore, and instead of the tides going out, they're going in. And instead of you pushing things out on the tides, you're honoring the fact that if you try to push things out, they'll come right back to you. And only doing things that are short-term, low stakes, experimental, just playing, doesn't matter. And if you do have to do something big during the retrograde, just really look at the paperwork. And if you can, sign an interim agreement or do something short-term. Like, let's say your lease is up and you have to move into a house or somewhere else. Maybe do a month to month for a couple of months, just to make sure that those retrograde energies are not clouding your judgment or the information. So, it turns into a short-term situation. Dentist appointments, doctor's appointments, blood work, all of that kind of stuff may be easier to schedule and get, clear results from in the first 3 weeks of the month. And then as the time progresses, you'll find yourself rescheduling a lot. So the more you schedule October 21st and after, the more you'll be on the phone, trying to get a blessed person on the phone, no person to be found, making a plan to change a schedule, can't get a hold of anybody, that kind of thing. So, just do yourself a favor, leave things scheduled more lightly and leave room for last minute magic, because that is one of the beautiful things about the retrograde, is that things can pop in out of the blue like, hey, do you want to do this? Yes, because I left myself unscheduled, I could do that. All right. So now, what else do we have? We've got some other short-term things, and we've got sweet aspects. We've got a flow of sweet aspects from October 8th through October 14th. So happening kind of at the same time as this drama, maybe being a little bit of a buoy, giving some blessings. We've got another flow of sweet aspects from October 24th through the 30th. So just kind of look to those times for some upliftment. Now, from the storylines of the short-term planets, these things that are passing very quickly, we've got a nice transit of Venus in Virgo through 9th house. No, not through the 9th. Yes. Yes, of course, it's right there. Through the 9th. Okay. And what is that doing? Transiting South Notice there, that's longer term. Venus, short term, making a trine to Cap placements. That means things that you've been wanting to do materially, in a very grounded way, something tangible regarding education, starting a course or a program, getting your teaching out there, starting your own school, learning a language, international travel. You may find yourself taking an international trip. I know I have one on the horizon for that period of time as well. And these are the kind of things that you will notice come up as opportunities at this time. So Virgo movements with Venus kind of still expanding the length of the Virgo season, because the sun has moved on, but Venus is still there. So blessings, money, financial interactions, international connections, stuff like that. Look for that yummy flow. And then Venus will get into Libra. The sun is in Libra. Mercury is in Libra. And all of that is going to accentuate your 10th house. This is going to bring a lot of elucidation to your workspace. You may realize things that you've been doing that aren't as effective as you'd like them to be. You may have to go through a little bit of a push to make things a little more organized. You may be getting some pushback from people in your work sector, because Libra represents your relationships, and your 10th house relationship, or the 10th house represents your work, career, employment, responsibilities, everything Saturnian, discipline, making responsible decisions. It is the house that is ruled by Capricorn and the house that is ruled by our ruler Saturn. So at this time of year, we've got to make some important negotiations or have some important conversations with people regarding our work and employment. If you have that employee or that person you're working with, collaborating with, and things aren't quite going the way you would like them to, this may be the time to use this energy, which is again a square, right? But there's something to push through here. Maybe there's not efficiency in communication with you and people you work with. Maybe, maybe you have to communicate something and you don't have the means to do that. Maybe you need a systems upgrade of some sort. And this month, especially into, before October 21st, can be really good for that, upgrading your systems. But you will see this. You will see some things having to get worked through with people in your life in the work context. And for those of you who don't have to work or aren't interested in work or retired, and also for the rest of us, this additionally can lean towards our public experience. So something like public votes or city council meetings, local politics, or any other, even grander than local politics. If you have any aspirations to be a part of the community and be more a part of the political process, where you're getting your voice heard, even if you just show up to complain about buildings that someone wants to put up near your house. There's something going on where someone may be trying to do something and you may have to use your voice, Mercury, in order to rise up against it. Okay, so this can have nothing to do with your work. This just can have to do with your place out in the world, your place out in the community, or a passion project that is not financially focused. All right, so all of those things can come up there. Then Mercury and the Sun and Mars will be moving through Scorpio, and those aspects will be great for Capricorn too. This is the deep, yummy, intimate relationship. So Libra is the relationship and the relationship to relationship, okay? It's the more superficial in a way. You do this, I'm doing this, we're doing this, just kind of a lighter type of energy. Once we get into the deeper levels of partnership that evolve into the Scorpio placement, now we're talking about sex, intimacy, power struggles, power alignments. We're talking about money. We're talking about, resources that are not just financial. Pluto, which rules Scorpio, rules mining, things under the ground, precious metals and things like that. And figuratively, this space also rules those places within ourselves. So psychological advancement, spiritual development. There will be a lot of energy as the month progresses, and we will feel that into November. And for Cappies, this is going to highlight our 11th house of networking and friendships and online presence and communities, online and in person. So you may be going deeper with people that you have been in association with, and now you're going to get down to work on something. All right, so if you need help with something, this is a great time to get referrals or, join groups where your connections with other people will be supportive to you. Okay, so we do have 16 sort of nuisance aspects scattered throughout the month, but we do have those sweet flows between October 8th and October 14th, and then October 24th and October 30th of extra sweet energy with lots of nice aspects jammed into those periods of time. If you want to learn more about astrology and you resonate with how I teach, you want a systematic formula for how you can take all of the infinite things you can learn in astrology and how to give an amazing reading every time. And if you want to earn money from that, that's an extra bonus. Check out my course, beastropro.com, beastropro.com, my astrology mastery certification course. If you want to see what these outer planet changes, all of the outer planets have changed signs recently. If you want to see how that affects your personal chart, go to anniebclarity.com, Annie the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to see my monthly star report with sweet and salty dates, you can actually get free access to that. You can get free access to early access to my horoscopes and all of these goodies, eclipse resource page, retrograde resource page, zodiac health tips, my 28-day virtual coaching program. I give my group a lot of free stuff. So there are a lot of bonuses that come over time and perks with that. And I send out one newsletter a week, so I won't spam you. I never sell your info to anybody else. I don't like winding up on someone else's list when I signed up for someone else's list. So I will never do that to you. So you can go to anniehelpsyou.com, put your name and email address in for my free VIP contact, get the welcome letter. In the welcome letter, there's an archive link. Go to that and put October 2025 astrology to find the sweet and salty date newsletter. Halfway down are the dates, and the whole second half of the newsletter, that's a long newsletter, it's very detailed, are me going into my favorite dates and why, and the ones to be most awareful and careful of. I will definitely go into that long-standing square with Jupiter and Chiron. These are months long this is influencing, and it's very hyper strong this month. So I go into all of that there too. I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.